like a marathon. All right.
Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
All
Get back into
right. And
the
me
Zoom.
Welcome to all of our dreamers, makers, and changers of tomorrow. You've made it to our launch pad here at AIB as we prepare to go on a 1-hour journey into the future. My name is Donnie English, and I'm the programs manager here at Smithsonian's Art and Industries Building. I will be your lead future agent for this evening. As we guide you through this trip, this program experience is one of many special events that will be happening at Arts and Industry Building as we celebrate the reopening of our historical building through the groundbreaking exhibition entitled Futures. This imaginative journey and virtual talk series is called Meet Us in the Futures. We will highlight the ideas of a few guest future agents who are striving to achieve a better tomorrow. To continue our celebration of Women's Future Month, at the Arts and Industry Building, we will be taking you on a trip into the future of media. In this future world, the inclusion of female-led perspectives and voices are prioritized, and opportunities for the upward mobility are equitable. Today's live stream of Meet Us in the Futures is sponsored by Comcast NBC Universal. On today's journey, we're joined by 3 incredible women who are helping to push the future of media forward. First up, we have Sierra Shooter Glaudet. Sierra is a filmmaker focused on building cinematic worlds where people of color, women, and the queer community can see themselves represented without due cause. Glaudet's portfolio boasts projects such as Spilt Milk, Queen Sugar, 20s, P-Valley, so many more. In her iconic interview with Oprah Daily, she was quoted as saying, "Directing is serving the story, but it's also serving the people that are serving the story." Next, we have Dee Dwyer. Dee Dwyer is a diversified photographer from Southeast Washington, D.C., who produces awe-inspiring images. She has been anointed by her community as the visual voice for the people. Her goal is to show all aspects of human life with the primary focus being humanity. Her work has been shown in exhibitions such as Photo Schwaz, Photoville, Catchlight, Reginald F. Lewis Museum, and featured in publications such as Vogue, NPR, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Times, BET, Ebony, DCist, The Guardian, Bloomberg Business Week, and so many more. These women are amazing. Way to kick off Women's History Month. And finally, last but not least, we have our moderator, who will be Gia Peppers. Gia Peppers is an award-winning on-air talent, entertainment journalist, content creator, and podcaster who is most known for her work as a contributor on NBC's primetime morning show staple, Today Show. Her Radio 1 program, More Than That with Gia Peppers, and as 1/5 of the wildly popular Candid podcast, Black Girls Pod. She is also partnered with Michelle Obama's When We All Vote campaign as a social ambassador and lends her voice to Color of Change's Tell Black Stories and #Change Hollywood initiatives. She has also launched an original interview series on YouTube titled Give You the Game, where she has inspiring conversations with impactful leaders like Debbie Allen, Erica Campbell, Sarah Jacobs Roberts, and so many more. I'm so ready and prepared for this conversation. And Gia, I think we're ready to blast off.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I am so excited and honored to be here, to be the moderator for this conversation and take us into the futures with 2 incredible human beings who are here and ready to spill some gems and some laughs, because the future is filled with joy. Okay, it's filled with joy and equality and equity. Hello. So Sierra and Dee are here, and I am so excited to be talking to you. And so y'all ready to jump into the conversation?
Let's get it.
Let's do it. Okay. So the first question is, where are you joining us from, and how does this space help you to spark imagination or think creatively about the future? And Sierra, I will start with you.
Okay. I'm coming to you live and direct from my apartment in Glendale, California. This is my little office corner over here. But my space inspires me to be creative because it's my own space. I can light my candles, burn my incense, you know what I'm saying? Water my plants. I like peace and quiet. That's really important to me. So it's pretty quiet over here. And I just really enjoy being in my space, because as much as, you know, Sierra has to be Shooter likes doing all that other stuff, but Sierra likes to come over here And Sierra's a fuel shooter, and so I had to come over here and restore myself. And my space is super important to me, and so it just enriches every aspect of my life.
I love it. I love it. Come on, it's like the Beyonce ego, alter ego. Now, come on,
Yeah,
Sierra and Shooter.
Yeah, Sierra employs Shooter. You know what I'm saying? Shooter do the day to day out in the world, but Sierra be over here chilling on the couch.
Yes, come on. I love it. D, tell me about the space you're tuning in from.
Okay, so the space that I'm tuning in from is DC. Okay. How does my space inspire me? Definitely, it inspires me because it's full of culture, as you can see.
Yes.
It's vibrant, all right. So lots of vibrant personalities I hope will be in the future. And like I said, like culture, just being home. Being home is where I plan to be. Wherever I am, I just want to feel that peace at home.
I love that. Shout out to home. Shout out to everybody who's feeling comfortable in their homes right now. It is a blessing to have a home. And I am in my office in my apartment in LA. I got good sis Maya back there. I got Kobe up there. I got my books and stuff like that. And I think this space inspires me because it represents like the leap of faith I took to kind of become bicoastal, but also because it's my first office, like my first real office. So I am excited to like do work here, and one day I hope that looks like this wall is in my production office that I own. That's part of my studios and things that I want to create and do. And so, that's why it inspires me. So I love that we're in places that inspire us and are also the spaces that we do the work that we do. And before we really, really get into the future part, I want to talk about the present because we can't have futures without knowing what we do now. And you all are so incredible, such incredible human beings and creatives. So can you break down what you do to people and why you love what you do? And D, I'll start with you.
All right. Okay. So I have been anointed by my community as the visual voice for the people. And what I do is I use my camera and my writing skills to tell our stories. So I literally give them the mic and let them tell their own stories. And that's pretty much what I do. Like I love telling the stories in my community, especially Southeast DC, which has been underrepresented, I feel, on these larger platforms. Also, it's very like it's an under-resourced community, aka the ghetto. So what I do, well, what I love is that I'm in a position where I am able to like show the world who we are. When people think of DC, they think of the Capitol, the monument, the pretty little, lawn at the White House and all of that little stuff. But I enjoy showing people the real DC. Yeah.
Yes.
Part of DC. Come on now.
Yeah.
The chocolate city, baby. We're still there. Still there. Sierra, what about you? Yes, outside.
So I am a TV director. I got some films too. I got some short films on the YouTube space, but I'm a TV director. I've directed shows like Queen Sugar. That's why I got their chair back, from up there. 20s, P Valley, a new little Pretty Little Liar spinoff. I head out to do another show tomorrow, which I don't know if I can tell y'all, so y'all gonna have to stay tuned. But I'm living the dream, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't grow up ever thinking that being a TV director was even a thing. And so for me to kind of like get into that space and just realize like, this is so fun. Like, I don't think that I go to work, I go to set and I go play, with like 150 people every day. Like I tell people, I go to camp, I don't go to work, and I just go have fun and, just bring the energy. And, we making movies and stuff. Like, come on now, it's not rocket science.
Right.
So I'm having the time of my life.
I love that. Come on, time of my life. I love it. I love to hear about what makes you all so passionate. You can literally see your faces light up when you talk about what you do. So that's how we know you're doing the right things. I love that. I love it. And so let's get into this first, real question about the futures and building places that we want to see move forward. What are some existing developments happening in your ecosystem or network or arena that make you hopeful for women's futures in media? What ideas or things that are happening that really inspire you and Sierra or Shooter? Look, whoever wants to answer here, I'll start with you.
Oh, I hate to sound like this, but I feel like I am the thing that's kind of happening, in a sense of like I am a product of like an ecosystem that is obviously thriving. So, you know, like Ava, she always putting people on. And you know, so many more of us like Queen Sugar directors. It's like 43 or 40 some odd of us, you know what I'm saying? So like she put me on one of my first sets and let me work on Selma with her. You know, I got to work on some other things. You know, fellow crew members from some of those productions brought me over to other things, other projects. And, you know, when I got to be a PA on Queen Sugar, I started on Queen Sugar. First 2 seasons as first team PA, you know.
Wow.
And then I worked my way up to being a director by the 5th season. And so that wouldn't be possible if like the ecosystem wasn't working.
Right.
You feel me? So like I hope to speak to being like a product of that today, to you know, inspire people and be like, hey, like it happened to me. Okay, I'm from Pritchard, Alabama. You can't find that on the map. You feel me? So like if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. And you know, if you just hustle hard, be kind, and you know, keep hope alive, like all you gotta do is keep your foot on the gas. That's what differentiates people that make it and don't. Like, did you keep going or did you stop at some point? Did you hit the brakes? And so you know, I just hope people see me and how I'm moving out here and how I'm having a grand time, you know, living in my purpose and stuff like that. And they be like, all right, me too.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't
Tap
be
me
nothing
in.
if it wasn't the women before me, like, hey, you know, this is what you need to do. Hey, all right, now do this. All right, now that you've done that, well, here's this thing because you earned it, and like fly. You know what I'm saying? I've been thriving. I didn't book like you know what, like 12 episodes in like 15 months span. You know, I just started directing TV at the end of 2020. I left all my modesty at the door because like if we're gonna inspire,
You don't need it.
you feel me? Like I
You don't need
it
it here.
I came back to jet skiing this morning. You feel me? So that I just hope to inspire people by just, you know, how I move through the world, and just you know, again, just being a testament to the fact that these some of these ecosystems are out here and they work, and to be an example, like other people do it, it works. So stop playing.
Stop playing.
Stop playing.
I love that. D, what about you? With the what inspires you about the future of media from the lens of the work that you do for women?
Yes, for women. I would say definitely I'm loving a lot of these new like women collectives. Like you have Black women photographers. You have Authority Collective, which is, you know, it's open to Black people, people of color. You just have so many Black women collectives that are coming, and then you have the industry that are listening to these collectives. Okay, so that is what I see. You have editors who are willing to listen and diversify their newsroom, their storytelling, I feel like the media industry is starting to understand that we need more Black people behind the lens just as much as we need, you know, Black people in front of the lens to document what's happening. So that's what I'm starting to see a lot in my industry. And I want to say, you know, shout out to 2020 for definitely bringing that to the forefront.
Amen. Because you were out there covering on the ground during the racial reckoning, or whatever, however people are referring to it. But when we were outside in the streets, literally risking our lives, you were there shooting and telling the stories. And so like you say, the shout out to 2020, I just want to pivot a little bit and add that in. Like, what will you take away from that moment that you probably will carry with you for the rest of your career?
With so much, it's like when I think about 2020, I just try not to get emotional. Definitely I want to say the sisterhood and brotherhood, like in our industry. Like I've been out here documenting for years, but 2020 definitely created communities within not just my industry, but in all types of industry, but definitely like the media industry, like where I was able to connect with people from different countries, different cities, different states, you know what I mean? And we have like a real sisterhood, real like, you know, brotherhood amongst one another. So definitely that. And then the bonds that I shared with just like protesters. I wasn't just there telling our stories, but those were people, you know, from my community. Like we bonded. We literally like we was on a battlefield together. So definitely that. And then, you know, just sticking it to the media industry, like us sticking, you know, up for each other, the protesters telling them, no, we need more Black storytellers, like advocating for us. Literally, we don't want white people telling our stories. You're not doing it the right way. That's how I was able to come into the door, to be honest. And then like, you know, we and the creators, like us just sticking together, letting them know, like, look, y'all gonna have to put some more respect on our name and our checks and all of that. So
and the craft
and do that on the craft as well. Being able to stick together to do that. And also one last thing with this from me, well, not one last thing, but moment, the industry taking mental health seriously. You know what I mean? Like I noticed like everyone is like, you're overwhelmed. Like, okay, what do you need? You need your self-care days? Yes. So those self-care days, people
are everything.
Seriously. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because you will burn at both ends of the candle and not realize it until you have nothing. Like you have burned to this.
Save some for yourself.
You got to. And I love, Sierra, you talked about restoration and how, you know, in your quiet, you love the power to restore and really make sure that you do that. Is that something that you hope creatives, women, people, wherever they are, really take seriously as they move forward as we move forward in our futures?
Absolutely, because like if you're not in a good space and you come to work, your energy ain't going, you know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna bleed all of that to other people. So like when I go to, you know, I wake up in the morning, I drink some tea, I listen to some trap music on the way to set. By the time I get there, I'm ready to conquer everything. You feel me? And I take that to the people and I encourage them, you know, all throughout the day, like, all right, you killing this, you killing that, because like the people are what make the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody can do my job, but I can't do everybody's job. Like put some respect on the craft. You feel me? And it's just like
people,
but you have to reserve something for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like on the weekends, I don't care if you emailing me on Saturday. You're gonna be talking to yourself.
I'm so sorry.
Sunday evening, so we straight for Monday morning. But like I have to have time to myself, especially as like a director, when my day is just managing people's personalities all day.
Hello.
And you know, doing that kind of thing. So I have to take something for myself. That's why I went jet skiing today. I go to a new show tomorrow and I go to Chicago and it's gonna be cold. And I was gonna be mad if I didn't go out there and splash around for a minute. You feel me?
Come on.
So I make sure I take something for me so I have something to give.
I love that. Okay, I'm gonna DM you to find out where you went jet skiing because I need to find out where the spot is. Okay. Yes, so thank you. So I loved hearing both of your answers because there is, again, so much power in the future and just speaking what you want to see more of. And like, what is one specific issue that you are most passionate about solving when it comes to increasing representation of women within the field that you both operate in now? Dee, I'll start with you. Like, what's one specific issue that you are most passionate about solving?
Just getting more of us in the door. You know, that's a big thing, especially when it comes to the media world, especially when it comes to like women, you know, with cameras. That's big. Storytelling in the community, a lot more community reporting. Like I love, you know, photographers who document celebrities and all of that. I think that's beautiful, but I feel like a lot of times like people kind of forget like the people in the community, like their voice matters as well, which is why like my friends, they're in LA, they're like, come to LA. And I'm like, no, I want to stay on the South Side for now. Like, I feel like my mission isn't complete here. So I want to see more women, you know, in our community, like behind the lens in our industry, telling those stories, because literally like that's who we are. In our community. So just making sure that we're preserving our history. I want to see that more.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And Sierra, what about you? What are you super passionate about solving?
We actually quote retweet because you know, basically Black women make up like like 8 or less percent of like directors in the industry. You know what I'm saying? And that's honestly, I think, being like generous by like a percent or two. You know what I'm saying? And so again, it's just kind of like taking up that space and being there and showing what they missing and that we're capable of, you know, doing the thing and doing it well. And also, you know, being able to be like, oh, okay, you see, I'm good. Okay, well, this person pretty good too. And just, you know, roping more people in. It's like, you know, we ain't worried about this, you know, seat at no table. Like we over here passing on blueprints, trying to be like, oh, this wall could be this big. You know what I'm saying? Then like this space could be this big. So it's just again making space for people and then like building our own infrastructure. Like I don't just want no little table.
Come on. Come on.
Okay,
Come on.
More than a seat at a table.
Yes.
That's all. That's it.
That's all? We passed that. Like we got way past that. We see Lena, we see Issa, I mean, like there's just way too much evidence of what can really happen if you put your folks on and create with your folks and do more things to make sure that these stories that you are passionate about are told. Because the thing is, if you care about it, 9 times out of 10, someone else cares about it too. And all of us have really, especially as Black women, we all have these really beautiful experiences of life. And oftentimes you can see it, well, especially during the summer of 2020, when you would see memes go viral and be like, dang, do we all grow up in the same exact household? Like, it doesn't matter if you're from DC, Alabama, LA, New York. Like when your mom asks you if you had money for food to eat, and I don't want to say the brand because, you know, whatever, but like when you had some type of money, you knew like, oh, okay, let me shut up, I need to go back in the fridge. Did you get the chicken out the freezer? No, we all still have trauma, you know. So I'm like, you got through. It's really such a beautiful thing to like tell the stories that matter, because they matter to a lot of us. And so I love that you said that. And one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is you Sierra, you kind of touched on the actions already that you'd like to see. Like, don't worry about building, getting a seat, build the table. But what are more actions, that 2 key actions that you all would like to see broadcast companies or communities implement to achieve a future in media that prioritizes the voices and representation of women? Like, what do you hope that these companies actually do to make sure that space is not only being made, but being cemented for women of color to move forward? And Sierra, I'll start with you if you have a.
Well, one, obviously is my answer to that. Cut the check. You feel me? Yes. Send them dollars. But also just be intentional and just be genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do stuff just because, oh, this is Black History Month, or we need to do this,
Lord,
or whatever the case is. Like, do it because it's really in your heart, or don't do it at all.
Please.
Like, miss me with the performativeness, because I could tell you when the performance is bad, honey. And most times it is, and they put it on display unabashedly and, you know, unashamed. So I'm just like, I can't get down with that. But it's just like, come from the heart, be authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really want to do this? And if you don't, stick to that. That's cool. But
that's fine.
People damage themselves more when they try to like do some perfunctory stuff, and it's like, your daddy's a glass maker. Like, come on now.
Right.
So cut the check, and also just be genuine. You know what I'm saying? Really want to do it. And if you don't, like, don't waste nobody's time. We don't have time to get baited. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody has time for that. So
that's so true. That's so true.
Where your mouth is.
Yes. Amen to that. D, what about you?
I would say I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Cut the check. That's number 1 priority. Okay. And then making sure those contracts are solid, because they will try to play with you with those contracts, and that right there is a very dangerous game.
It's scary.
It's scary, yeah. So I mean, you playing with my future, you playing with my kids' future. You just doing too much with that. And then just respecting the real. You know what I mean? Like respecting the real and being accountable for your mistakes, being able to accept constructive criticism from the real. That's what I dream of. That's what's needed.
Yes. And I think, like, you know, going back to our Instagram live that we just did, which was so funny. I really, really, really want to see, like, if people are in positions where they are managing groups where younger people are on there and working with them, not to be afraid to take chances, to go outside of the norms or the standards and practices that the companies have been using forever. If a new idea actually works, if it's representative of what people want to see in the world, like, don't be so rigid to old ways just because the company was successful at that time doing that. Like, that's okay, but like, if the company ain't growing, exactly. If you're not evolving, then what are you doing? Right. So I think I also like to see when people really, really, like you all were saying, intentionally listen to their staff, to what's happening, and align their practices with what the future needs, because the future is always changing and always asking more of people that are in the driver's seat. So I really love all of these answers, man. We're already dropping gems. I'm sure if you're watching, please, you are allowed to get in the conversation of just a few minutes. You will be able to answer or ask some questions. So please drop your comments in with questions, and we'll make sure to get those in. If you have any questions for our panelists, they are brilliant, obviously. So please ask away. You've got time with them, so use it wisely. Again, we have a Q&A coming up, so please drop your questions in for that. Okay. So, go ahead. Someone.
Oh no, I was just amping you up. You were like,
oh, thank you.
Come on, girl, come on. Yeah.
Thank you, Sierra. Yes. Okay. So we kind of already touched on this, the create safe spaces. But if or we can move right to the parts where we show the works that we're proud of, or we could talk about creating more safe spaces. It's up to you guys. What do you think?
Are we gonna talk about our journey? How we got into?
Oh, come on, pop off.
Please. Here we go. Because that's what I want to talk about. So let's talk about journeys, and then let's get into some of the works that you guys are really, 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 really proud of that will help push the future of media forward. Dee, go ahead, sis. You tell us about the journey.
I was about to toss it to Sierra. Okay. I don't know. For me, definitely go-go music. I want to shout out go-go music. So when I was, and for those that don't know what go-go music is, it is the sound of DC. Just Google it. We don't got enough time for all of this. Just Google it. Or come to DC to a show. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, I got into storytelling. Like I said, like I'm from Southeast DC, a tough area, the hood, the ghetto, whatever you want to call it. And we would have these go-go's where it was like people like me, you know, that come from, you know, my community, or communities like mine. We would go hear the bands play, and it was always a picture booth, right? Where everybody get fly, you know what I'm saying? Everybody from the neighborhood get fly, you go listen to the music, and you go to the picture booth. And at the go-go, it was a mixture of tough guys, like all types of people, right? And I remember just being inspired by seeing the tough guys smile at the picture booth. I was just like, they smiling? Like, what? Around the neighborhood, they don't smile. You know, they gotta be tough. But this was their moment to be vulnerable. So at that moment, I was like, Dag, I'm gonna let them, you know, I mean, I want to do what they do. You know what I mean? So I started like getting Kodak cameras. You know, I was a wild teen, so it was, you know, I didn't have any money. I had to do what I had to do to get these Kodak little cameras. And I would take my camera and go to all the neighborhoods, the Black communities in DC, take pictures, get it, you know, print it, and then go around and give everybody the cameras. And then, you know, I mean, the pictures. Fast forward to me wanting to be a criminal defense lawyer. I went to school thinking that I was going to like get all my friends out of jail, because a lot of my friends were incarcerated for things that I just felt as though they didn't have to be incarcerated for that long. And I was like, I'm gonna get y'all out of jail. I'm gonna be a criminal defense lawyer. Went there, was like, got inspired by Spike Lee. And I was like, I think that the way to show the world like what we suffer from is by becoming a filmmaker. So I went to film school, and I had to take a black and white still photography class where I had to shoot on film, develop my own film and all of that. And I was like, Dad, I want to do still photography. So, but I didn't want to lose any more credit. So I went on ahead, stuck it out, got my filmmaking degree, got married, was a housewife for a long time. And, you know, my best friend, Brianna Monet, shout her out. She's a cinematographer in LA. She was working on a film in Brazil. And she, you know, just was like, you gotta get out this house, sis. Like, I spent my whole 20s married with 2 kids, housewife. She was like, you gotta get out this house, sis. You got a talent, you know, come to Brazil with me. So I ended up going to Brazil with her, and another filmmaker at the time. And I just got inspired, came back, got a divorce because my husband was not supportive of, you know, me following my dreams. And this was like 5 years ago. And I just stuck it out, you know what I mean? And I started telling the stories of my community because I had to actually move back to Southeast, going through a divorce and all of that. But coming back home inspired me to like, you know, start documenting my community and take it seriously. So I did that. That was like in 2016, where I really started taking it seriously. I just never looked back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I became a single mom of 2 kids, but like my community, just like, I don't know, they just supported me. They still support me. So it's like I lost, you know, the husband, but I gained the whole community. I gained the whole tribe. So yeah, that's how I got here. Long story short.
Yes, and then your time documenting the Black Lives Matter movement, I remember you saying before, was the takeoff point. Like you were like, oh, that's when you started to see a lot of opportunities come in.
Yeah, so in 2020, for sure. So prior to that, like I was getting, you know, in shows here and there. But 2020 was the moment that changed my career. Literally, like I went from going to portfolio reviews, trying to get on, to document in the 2020 protest. And I literally, like, I didn't get hired. Like, that's not why I went out there. I went out there because when my daughter was in kindergarten, she came home excited, telling me that Christopher Columbus discovered America. And I was just like, what? No. So when I saw the 2020 protest happening, I was just like, I got to get out there with my camera and just document our stories. Was documenting it, posting it online. And then like I mentioned earlier, like the women, not just women, but just like a lot of photography collectives, and the people just started like, you know, shouting me out. And like editors just saw my work, and you know, they were just like, wow, who's this girl? And I was just like, The Wire. I'm from Southeast DC. Holla at me. And you know, I just got on it. That's how it happened. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Oh, this is so good. Right? Snap it up for the journey, honey. And it's still only just beginning. Okay. Ciara, please tell us how Shooter, what the journey of Ciara and Shooter have been.
All right, I'm gonna give y'all kind of like the medium abbreviated version because this story could be very long, but I'm gonna give you enough, right? All right, so growing up as a young gay Black girl in the South, didn't know filmmaking was a thing. Period. Was outside, you know, riding horses, riding my dirt bike, stuff like that. I didn't get into like film stuff until late high school on a fluke. My junior year, my older brother passed away at the top of the year, and so I didn't care nothing about school. You know what I'm saying? And I had no interest in anything until finally second semester. I took this little film journalism class, and we were doing like little spoofs around campus. It was like the real world road, not the real life, true life. That's the one.
Oh yeah,
life, like McGill too. I went to a Catholic school, right?
Yeah.
And so next year when I was the SGA president with my gay ass of this Catholic school, you know, my film teacher was like, "Yo, you should we should do video announcements." So we started doing that little 2-camera setup, and he was like, "Yo, you should look into doing this, you know, profession." I was like, or going to school for it. And I was like, that's not how you make no money. Like I thought I had to be like a lawyer, a doctor, or like get an MBA. I thought getting an MBA meant money, right?
Right.
Because I couldn't be a lawyer. I don't like to argue, and I can't be a doctor because I'm squeamish. So I was like, MBA, I'm gonna get some money, right? And so I wasn't really into it until I actually listened to him, and I went to University of Alabama, and I actually took a film course because I was undecided as to what I wanted to do. But he spent a lot of time urging me, so I was like, I'll try it. So I go up to Alabama, I take my first film class, and I was good at it. And my teacher was like, "You're good at it." And I was like, people get paid to do this? She was like, "Yes." And I was like, okay, all right, I like that. And so I'm making films and stuff the next couple of years with my peers and stuff around campus, you know, just doing whatever. I was also shooting for the Black Greeks. That's actually how I got the name Shooter, because I was in a dining hall one day, and this kid who I do not know to this day comes up, and he's like, "Hey, you're the shooter, aren't you?" And I was like, "I guess I am." And I went, you know, changed my little Instagram name, but that's because they always saw me dragging this little cart around campus, or like shooting at the probates and, you know, running around with my camera. And so then I was like a 5th year senior at Alabama because I'm working like 3 jobs. I'm the oldest of my siblings. I got a younger brother that's Downs. And so like my mom is a nurse and I'm not trying to put no more on her. So I'm just trying to hold it down. I'm in this program. We start a student run film festival. My film professor knew Ava from back in the day. Now, this is the professor that told me I was good. This is the same professor that used to let me come to some of her classes when I couldn't afford them. Because she was like, if you can show up at 8 a.m. in the summer to take an advanced sliding class, which the books are right there. You feel me? Like, she was like, I'm not going to tell you can't take this class. I'll help you get some credit later, like be my teaching assistant later, right? So I'm like moving like that through college. And then we have that student film festival and Dr. Ramus got Ava to come down because Ava was in Atlanta doing Selma. So this is like 2014. So we get to, she comes down and I know everything about this lady. She's like asking us questions. I know the answers. So much so she like gave me this little wristband off of her body. I have it like 7 years later. That's her doll type shit. So you know, we hit it off, and at the end of the weekend, I was like, yo, I'm the one you need, and I'm finna work on your movie. So what I gotta do? Verbatim. And she was like, okay. She let me work on Selma from some connects on Selma. Like one of my fellow PAs was a programmer up at Urban World Film Fest. Went up there, volunteered, ran into Ava, and she was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, Selma gang. She was like, okay, apply to Sundance. You know, when you do, let me know. So I'd apply to Sundance. Mind you, I'm still in college. So on the weekend, or not even on the weekends, like some weekdays, other Selma fam had projects up in Atlanta, like The Game. I would get out of class, shoot 3 hours north to Atlanta, work a 12-14 with them the next day, shoot back to class, be in class the day after that. Just trying to be on set because I was like, this is so cool, and they got a lot of snacks. All right. So it's like a party environment. So I was having a grand time. And I just kind of kept doing that until at the top of 2015, after I did the dance, like I had like this housing situation crisis, and I was like working 3 jobs and I was burnt out. And I emailed Ava. I was like, yo, whenever, wherever, I'm 10 toes down. And an hour and a half later, I get a call from an LA number, and they're like, hey, Ava needs an assistant next week in New York. And I was like, I dropped out of school in 20 minutes later. Ava called me 2 days later and was like, what about school? I said, you're late. I dropped out 2 days ago. And she's mortified. But I was like, chill, because like you got to realize, like, I'm getting drafted to the league. Nobody trips when it's the football players or the basketball players. Like, this is my getting drafted to the league. I'm going from University of Alabama Film School to Ava DuVernay Film School. You know? And so then I was her assistant on a pilot in New York, and I was terrible at first because I'm not like good with emails and stuff, but I'm good on the ground. I'm a good hustler. I'm good, you know, getting to know people around set and getting the things I need from them. So I started learning set. After that, she wound up inviting me to, you know, Queen Sugar. I did Queen Sugar season 1 as the first team PA, took care of everybody. She was like, hey, you need to start directing and making your own stuff. So in between Queen Sugar season 1 and Last Look, Queen Sugar season 2, I did my first short, Last Looks. I like went and did Wrinkle in Time with her and edited Last Looks, gave it to her because she was like, you know, work your way up to a Queen Sugar episode. And I gave her Last Looks, and she was like, all right, now shoot a feature. So I was like, all right, bet. Season 3, she lets me go to the Queen Sugar writer's room so I can like learn how to tell a better story. I'm getting lines in there, story plots, all kind of stuff. Sometimes her notes to the showrunner will be Ask Sierra, period. Because I'm the most cultured one down there. Like the writer's room is out in LA, and it's like I know the geography, I know the people, like I got the slang and you know, and the things. And then while Queen Sugar was in its 4th season, I was having my thesis year. I did a couple things with Lena Waithe. I did my film Spilled Milk. I did a music video for Chica, which was dope about that because the director, the DP, and the talent were all queer Black women from Alabama. Fire, you know? And then after that, this is like 2019 now. And somewhere in 2018, I also was like an assistant on 20. So like, I just been constantly like, you know, bouncing from show to show. And again, just being a product of that ecosystem of people, you know, putting people on. And then Ava awarded me with 3 Queen Sugar episodes at the end of 1 Queen Sugar episode at the end of 2019. But then the pandemic hit. You know, and I'm pressed for 6 months. And then she calls me in September of 2020. Like, it was like a couple of days before my 29th birthday, I got flown down there to do 3 episodes of Queen Sugar at the end of 2020. And, you know, that just made me really grateful because, like, we was in a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the world was in like shambles, and here I am, like, you know, starting to live my dream. So it just really, like, I've always been a very grateful and appreciative person, but it's like it really just like all of this is still so new and so amazing to me because everybody ain't able. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
I don't take it for granted at all. So since my first 3 Queen Sugar episodes, I got a 4th one. I got 2 episodes of 20s. I got an episode of P Valley. I got an episode of this new Pretty Little Liars thing. I got 2 episodes of The Shy. I got an episode of Riverdale coming up. Y'all don't tell nobody them last 3. Okay. Anyway, whatever. But and I recently got an NAACP Image Award nomination. So baby.
Sierra.
That's how I got here in my little apartment, and you know, I get to go ride my jet ski and stuff. That's not a place. It's mine. You know what I'm saying?
What? You just own a jet ski and you just bring it out?
Yeah, that's my mental
into
health.
The beach?
Yes, I was in the water today. Like right above today. Like
you said something earlier, Sierra. You said you ride dirt bikes.
Yeah, like I do all that country stuff.
I'ma holler at you.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
why are you trying to learn how
to? You going?
I gotta holler at you, for real.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But you know, it's just like stuff like that. Again, it's been the ecosystem of like women that have always put me on. Like I got to see all those women Queen Sugar directors. They used to take me to dinner when I was a PA, and they put something on my meal. Like they wouldn't let me pay for it. And it's just, you know, everybody, you know, pouring into each other and stuff like that. And so that's how I got here, is because of the women that came before me. And it's like, again, like I'm proof of the future. Like, did you think Ava thought this when she gave me that little wristband? You know what I'm saying? Or I said some crazy thing to her demanding I was finna work on her thing, but like, you know, she's so proud now. And I have so much pride for, you know, making her return on investment, because it's like, I wasn't a fluke, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's
no
like,
flukes here.
You got to give people the chance. Like,
you have to give people the chance. Yes, I love that. Yes, I love all of this. Okay, so we are officially over on the time. So what we're gonna do is over on the time for we got to start the Q&A in a little bit, but I do want to make sure that we at least get like one thing each that you guys are proud of, that you worked on, that you think will push the future forward of photojournalism and cinema. So can we bring up the one? We're just going to audience questions. Okay, never mind. You're gonna have to follow them.
No way. Yeah, sorry.
Follow them to see the things that they're happy about. Okay, so let's go to audience questions. And we know that you guys have some really incredible ones, because this has been so inspiring already. So let me make sure that I get all these audience questions. All right. First up is for Sierra. Sierra, what are some of your upcoming shows? Even though you kind of just did it, but say it again. And can you give us some insight on what's going to happen? She's trying to get you fired.
Oh, right. Who that is?
Like, that's crazy.
All right.
Win.
I mean, I got some P Valley coming out. They just announced that in June. I think you will find that my episode is 204. I think that you will find the opening to my episode very entertaining. I personally do. So I'm excited for that. It starts off with a song that is pretty iconic to me.
Okay.
If you know anything about me, you'll know what that means. But yeah, so we got P Valley. I did this Pretty Little Liars show, which is like, I ain't too familiar with Pretty Little Liars. They know that before they hired me. Don't worry. But it was, you know, it was a dope, fun experience. Nice ensemble cast, bunch of cool chicks. And yeah, I'm excited. I leave tomorrow to go work on a new show. So I don't know exactly what's happening there. But yeah, you're not going to get me in trouble and my NDA is violated. No, stealing my.
That's what I was like, they don't know.
Tune in. You know what I'm saying? Like Gia was saying, follow us on Instagram, because like if anything that I would have told you that I'm proud of, you can find on my Instagram. I promise.
Hello. I love that. D, the next question is for you. Now I want to keep moving because we only got a few minutes here. So D, like how the Q&A person said, how do you sustain the responsibility of being DC's visual voice of the people?
Visual voice for the people.
For the people.
That person. How do I sustain it?
Yeah, I guess how do you handle the responsibility?
I just be me, to be honest. Like I was raised, like my family is a bunch of real people. So it's in my blood. You know what I mean? I stay true to the people. And I'm with my people like every day. Like I don't just go and take pictures and then like turn in my assignment to my editor, then I'm out. Like I'm literally there. Like I'm going to the cookouts. You know what I mean? I'm chilling with them. You know, I'm going to the fish fries. Like I'm with my people. I am like that's just who I am. Yeah, I am the people.
Right.
That's who I am. I can't take my face off. Like it's just who I am.
And you
The
should.
people's champ. The people's champ, and we need you. And I'm so proud that you are out here taking up space in the way that you are, and then reflecting people back to the people. Like that's so important in the way that actually is through love and in love, from love. Like I think that's so dope. Both of you do that really well. So that's for both. So I do want to ask this one because this is a really beautiful question. What were the steps you took to stop playing small and to step into your greatness? Sierra, I'll start with you.
Okay, one thing that you can go do, go on YouTube and watch Ava's DGA keynote, because she talks about something called the code of desperation. Okay. And when I tell you I seen that and it really called me out, like I may have got a little teary-eyed, but it's basically talking about, you know, the little mustard guy from the Peanuts with all the, I don't know his name, with all the stuff on him. It's like, if you have on that code of desperation, it's damp, it's soggy, it's stinky, it's heavy. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to approach you with it on. So you have to take that desperation off and know what's for you is for you and just go get it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I stand right at my window and look over Glendale and I'll be like, I'm a director. Okay. I go have conversations with myself in the mirror just to like remind myself. Cause sometimes like even before we get on here, you don't really want to pop off like that and like sound like you too full of yourself, but you have to go remind yourself, because like if you don't, who is? If you're not going to be your biggest cheerleader, who is? You know what I'm saying? So
that's so good. I love that code of desperation.
Code of desperation is
okay.
It was a keynote, but you have to take that desperation off and you just have to do the work. Like my math is hustle hard and be kind. You got to be the person they want to go to when everything is messed up and they need you to fix it. You want to have that, you know, you want them to have that confidence in you. You know what I'm saying? But you also want to be the person that they just want to stand next to because you got good energy.
Yes.
You feel me? And so it's just like you gotta go out and be you know, I tell people, be the person that your family members love. Yeah. And if your family don't like you, bless your heart. But be the person that your friends love, because I'm sure your friends like you.
Right. You at least if the family don't like you.
You gotta
bless your heart.
Bless your heart. But like you
on Alabama.
I was gonna say that's how you know she from the South.
Bless your heart, because that's okay.
Bless your heart to keep it moving.
Yes, I love that. Keep it moving. I love this. Okay, Dee, what about you? Like, what steps did you take to start stepping in and owning your greatness?
I want to say my divorce. My divorce was life-changing for me. Like I literally had to move back with my parents, with my two kids, share one little bedroom with my two kids, be in the middle of Southeast with my two kids. And I like literally had to come back home and I had to look myself literally or face myself. Shout out to Kiana Jones, okay, on the South Side. I had to face myself. Literally, I had to sit with myself and I had to ask myself, like, are you going to allow your circumstances to allow you to just be a failure? And I was just like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like, I've always been a fighter, like literally growing up, like I just always been a fighter. So I was just like, why not fight for my life? Why not fight for what I want? So I had to listen to my gut because I literally was about to go crazy if I did not follow my dreams. Like I would have been in St. E's, you know, I was just like, I gotta do it. What's the worst that could happen? I'm here with my two kids, like no home, you know what I mean? I might as well go hard.
Yeah. If they gotta go.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so brave of you to do too, because a lot of what life offers is like really either comfortable situations that you're used to or uncomfortable situations that take a whole new side of who you are. And if that uncomfortability scares you, go for it, right? Like there's a part of stepping into your greatness that requires you to take off whatever it is that you, whatever insecurities that you believe you have, and put them down and say, you know what, I don't care. They thought I was shy in school. They said I couldn't do it. They said I wouldn't be this, and that. And try and see. And 9 times out of 10, life, God, whatever you believe in will meet you because you actually believed in what you know is deep down on the inside of you and you stepped out on that, right? Like I think
if you jump, the wind gonna catch you and carry
you. Yes. Like there is something so powerful about taking a step forward towards who you know you can be. Because if it's a nagging feeling, and it keeps coming back, it means you're supposed to do it. Like it means you're supposed to go for it, you know? So I think there's just so much power in listening. Like we were just like both of you were saying, listening to what it is, you know, is true about yourself, and never allowing anybody to say like, I said that this is true for you, so it's true. What's true for you is how you see yourself and what you know you can be and what you know you can do. So don't ever let nobody do that to you. Okay. So Okay. So, Sierra, you talked a lot about the impactful moments that changed your path and made you pivot. Because you were talking about Ava, you're talking about school, you're talking about your teachers, which I loved hearing that story. That was such a good story. But Dee, I want to ask you, like, what have been some of the most impactful moments that changed your path? And maybe you can go into a little bit more of like those first moments that you were facing yourself.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I want to seriously, the community affirming me. Like, I remember like when they started seeing themselves being published, like in Vogue, like in, you know, New York Times, NPR, DCS, like when the community starts seeing themselves like on those larger platforms in a beautiful light, you know what I mean? In a real and raw light. Because it's not always beautiful, you know what I mean? And when I would like come back and I'll be like, here's the article, and I'll be like, so like, you know, not shy about it, but
but your baby
nonchalant about it. Like, here's the article, and they're like, just seeing their faces light up. I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep going with this. I'm gonna keep going with this. But definitely having the community affirming me, that right there, that has been like an eye-opening moment, and it's gotten to the point where they depend on me. Like they're calling my phone, like sometimes in the middle of the night, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, I need you to come and check this out. This is what's going on. Like literally they report to me first for just about anything. And to me, that is like the most best feelings in the world, like because they trust me. Like to have people trust, that's a big thing for me. Yeah, because my people don't trust people easily.
No, that's
easily.
That's true.
So yeah, shout out to the community, the people.
I love this. So this is why you the visual voice for the people, baby, because you love the people.
Down the street with you.
Hello, where are you going next?
Come on the south side. Like
yes, I love this. I love this so much. Okay, and so you know we only have like 1 little minute left. I do want to say, I don't know, should we go into the next question, ladies? I mean, what are we thinking? We moving on. I want to make sure that I want to keep the one last question. Okay, so the one last question is for both of you. How do you foresee telling more stories of freedom in your work? And Sierra, there was a question about like making sure that there are real spaces for queer women in media. So can you speak to that part of the freedom of making sure that we are seeing more spaces for queer women of media to get through? And then for you, from your perspective, Dee, with Black women in photography, can you both speak to that? And Sierra, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I just think, one, you just gotta, hire the people that to do the work on my film, Spilt Milk. Like there was a great fraction of, the people that were queer people, but also like, I'm here to tell stories about the future. I get in these general meetings and I'm like, I'm not here for trauma porn or all these historical things. Like I'm trying to go new places. I'm trying to show Black people, women, queer people in new spaces, or shocker, just existing. You know what I'm saying? Because like everybody else do it. And so that's what I try to do in some of my works and things like that. So I'm just gonna, keep trying to do the same thing and just putting us on the screen, putting me on the screen in a sense, because like, young gay Black girls, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like you can do it too. Like we outside. So again, just putting them on the screen. That's the best thing I could do. So we know like, hey, we're here, and also pulling them behind the camera. So when they call cut and people, look beyond the camera, they're like, okay, I'm amongst my people. I feel taken care of.
You better. I love this. Come on. Dee, I'm gonna throw it to you, sis. What about for Black women photography and freedom in the storytelling? What do you hope to see there?
Definitely. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Like we just need to be in this industry telling our stories. I mean, that's it. Just afforded the same opportunities as everyone else. And then also like making sure that we have those skills. So just providing like more mentorship, you know what I mean? Because
everything.
When we come in, we gotta have our skills.
Yeah, we gotta
slide it in there. We gotta have our skills.
Next how to shooter.
What'd you say?
Say it again.
When you look past you, like if like whoever's coming behind you should be the next hardest person in line.
Exactly. They have to be like, they skills got to be so hard, like to the point where like to this day, like people think that I'm a man. You know what I mean? Like that's why I started posting more on my like photography page, because people think that only men have sharp skills, and it's like, nah, women, we can get down too. So just making sure those skills are sharp. It has to be sharp.
Yeah.
I love this. I could literally talk to y'all all day, but we have officially run out of time. So I just want to thank you all for being here, for being your full, beautiful selves, for the work that you do, and for the ways that you show up for us and all that you represent. You guys are just incredible. And I'm so happy to talk to you. Thank you to Sierra and aka Shooter, and thank you to D, the visual voice of the for the people, baby. We love it so much. I'm gonna throw it to Donnie to wrap this up, and everyone who tuned in, sending you so much love. We love you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys, and also shout out to Kenya. Thank you too, girl.
Hey.
Sorry, but shout out to you.
Thank you, Gia.
Thank you.
I am loving all of this magic that's happening. We've made it to the end of our journey. Please prepare back for our landing back home as we conclude our trip from the future of the world of media. All right, this conversation was so inspiring. I think the one thing that I got out of it was to leave my modesty at the door. As I step into Women's History Month, I'm super excited just to celebrate more women. So if you're a part of our Zoom, could you give us one word to describe today's journey? In our chat, let's see if we have any that's loading. Okay. I see it's loved it. Excellent.
Okay.
Affirmed. Everything they needed. Yes, everything I needed as well. Like, this is inspiring. Yes, I love all of this. Okay. We hope that you are able to take some of these ideas that you heard today as we work towards a future that we want, not a future that we fear. Thank you, Gia, Dee, and Sierra for joining us on our trip. Thank you to all of our dreamers, makers, and changers of tomorrow who tuned in. And finally, thank you to NBC Comcast for sponsoring our live stream broadcast. We encourage you to follow us at Smithsonian AIB on Instagram and stay connected and check out our website to learn more about our upcoming events happening weekly. Just to give a little insight of how we're continuing Women's History Month, please join us this weekend for If Then celebration. And also next week, we'll be exploring the next generation of spacesuits with the director of the MIT Media Lab, Dava Newman. So head over to our website and secure your tickets now. Also, if you'd like to snatch up some exclusive Futures merchandise, go to futuresmerch.com. We have some really cool Future t-shirts, posters, tote bags, crew necks, anything you can imagine. We look forward to you on our next trip with you into the future. Have a good evening.
Oh, wow.